Hello, beautiful people. Thank you so much for tuning in, watching, and listening. This is going to be the mid-September 2022 reading for the zodiac sign of Gemini. Welcome, fellow Geminis. As always, my readings are very intuitive, so I'll provide you with any intuitive messages that I receive, as well as the meaning of the tarot cards. I do, however, recommend you check out your sun, moon, and rising just to get a full picture of everything that's going on. And if you haven't done so already, Gemini, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. When you subscribe, that helps me greatly, and you'll be notified when I post new content. With that being said, let's go and jump in and get started. In column number 1, we're going to take a look at what's wrapping up and coming to a close, so last few weeks or month. Column number 2, we're going to take a look at what's happening for the remainder of September. We're also going to do a money column, a love column, and in the 5th and final column, we're going to do a message from our future self or spirit guides, something to carry into the remainder of September. We're also going to do 3 yes or no questions for you. We're going to take a look at your crystal of the month and do a healing note. But let's see here, getting started. Again, column number 1 is what's wrapping up and coming to a close. So last few weeks or month, we have the card Heat. Heat's a good card. Heat just means things have been moving. There's action, there's change, there's things going on. When things move, there's friction. When there's friction, there's heat. So again, this card is a card of movement. Well, let's see, Gemini, what kind of messages we have coming through here. The first card we have is the Six of Swords. I know the Six of Swords looks a little gloomy, but this is actually a card I really like. This is a card of going through a necessary transition. You see the card is kind of blue-gray. Everyone's facing away from us. Their heads are hanging down. There's swords stuck in the boat. But the boat is moving in a forward, positive direction. So again, that's part of that necessary transition. This boat is taking us exactly where we need to go, right where we need to be when we need to be there. For some of you, this could also be moving or relocating too. So an actual physical move. The next card that we have is the Nine of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles is a card of self-sufficiency, luxury, financial gain. I feel like this is a good time for money. Potentially some money came into play these last few weeks, Gemini. But nonetheless, very self-sufficient, able to do for our own. And at the bottom here, we have the Wheel of Fortune. If you've watched my readings before, you know the Wheel of Fortune is one of my favorite cards in the entire deck. It's a card of good luck, a card of good fortune, and it indicates a turning point. Not surprised to see this. Clearly, we're in motion. There's movement with both the Heat card, the Six of Swords, and also the Wheel of Fortune. So it's movement and money. Like to see those two together, I suppose. But let's see what other cards we have here, Gem. Our first clarifier is the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups is a card of wishes coming true. It's also a card of material abundance, so lots of money sprinkled into these last few weeks or month. But what this is really saying is with this transition, with this move, with this Six of Swords, the boat card, this is what we were wishing for. The boat is taking us where we wanted to go, where we've been asking to go. So that's really neat energy to see. If you're not fully feeling that yet, you will really soon, Gemini. The next card that we have is the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands is a card of keeping and maintaining boundaries. And I will say this is like kind of coming through as like we need to make sure we have good money habits here. So if you have savings goals, make sure you're adhering to them. Budgets, whatnot. Make sure we're making good money choices. Just because there's new money going in doesn't mean that we should forget about how we were managing our money before. And at the bottom here we have the Fool card. The Fool card is the first card in the Major Arcana, and honestly it's one of those good ones to have anywhere. This is a card of fresh hope, taking chances, going on a new path or adventure. And I'm not surprised. Again, we're in transition, we're in movement, we're in motion here. We're heading again to this place where you wanted to go. So with the Fool, it's that new beginning that we've been waiting, hoping, wanting. We've turned the corner and we're reaching it now. Let's take a look at our next column though, which is just general what's coming through the end of September. We have the card Ready but Waiting. This is an indicator that things may take a little bit longer than we anticipated. We're going to see how this plays out It seems like things are moving along pretty well, but it could slow possibly going into the end of September. But let's see what we've got here. The first card that we have is the Death card. The Death card does not mean death. I always like to throw that out there for those of you that don't know. But this is a card of big changes, endings, it's transformation, it's movement. There's no doubt that we're going through a transformation. However, it's just kind of saying it may slow with our ready but waiting card. If you take a look at the Death card, there's kind of the sun peeping through the buildings in the background. And this is like very much so the grass is greener on the other side. But I already told you that with the Nine of Cups and the Six of Swords, this is like where we've been praying, where we want to be, where we hope to be, what we want. So this transition is continuing into the remainder of the month, although it does seem to slow a tiny bit. Taking a look at our next card, we have the Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands is a card of self-defense or feeling like you have to protect yourself against competition. We're going to clarify this, but I feel like you could be dealing with like an external party and potentially that's what's slowing this transition down. It's like you have to stop and help somebody with something else or clarify or verify. Again, I'm going to pull a clarifying card on this so I can give you more information, but this seems to be what's slowing down the transition. And then at the bottom here, we have the Sun card. In terms of good cards in the deck, Gemini, it doesn't really get much better than the Sun card. This is a card of material happiness, joyous outcomes, success. Again, what we said, the grass is absolutely greener on the other side. We're going to see that loud and clear. So this transformation is taking us to a very happy place. Again, the place where we have wanted to be. Really like the pairing of the Death and the Chariot, and also not surprised to see them. Two transition cards here. Somebody once described the Chariot to me as the vroom vroom card. It's a card of action, it's a card of change, it's a card of being on a journey. And that's paired with the Death card. So there's no doubt that we are in the thick of this transformation. We're on this journey, we're going through this change. And again, conveniently, it's taking us right to the place where we've hoped we've been. So super neat to see both of those cards come through. It just solidifies or confirms. Taking a look at our next card is our Six of Cups. The Six of Cups is a card of nostalgia, reflection. This can also be a card of reunions, and I think this is going to have different meanings for some of you Gemini, so I'm going to throw a couple things out here. Some of you could be getting reconnected with somebody, hence the reunion, and that's what's slowing this transformation. This reunion, I feel like, it's kind of short-lived, though. I just see you like stopping and then continuing to pass. So I don't know that I expect much from this reunion, but for whatever reason, it is slightly slowing down this transformation that we're going through. The other thing is, I feel like some of you could be defending having to try something again. So like maybe we tried something at some point and it didn't work, but we're trying it again. And Gemini, you know it's going to work, but there could be somebody that's like saying that's not going to work. And this is probably a terrible example, but I like to throw examples in there when I can just to like give you a better understanding of what I'm trying to say. So let's say your transformation is gaining weight or losing weight, whatever it may be. Let's just say, for example, it's gaining weight, and the way you're going to do that is by drinking this one certain protein drink and going to the gym and doing this one certain workout, and somebody's like, oh, you did that in the past and it didn't work. But it's like, you know that that's the path that you need to take there. So I do feel like it's like with the nostalgia and the reflection here with the Six of Cups, it's like we're trying something again that we think is going to take us through this transition, but others could be questioning if it's the right thing. So there could be like some explanation or justifying or defending of actions here. Again, that probably is not the exact situation you're in, but again, just providing an example for some context. Then at the bottom here, we have the Eight of Pentacles clarifier. The Eight of Pentacles is a card of mastering your craft, enjoying your employment. But one of the things that I love about the Eight of Pentacles is when I see this, I know that your hard work is going to pay off. The Eight of Pentacles is a card of hard work, but again, it's that indicator that your hard work is getting ready to pay off. And that doesn't surprise me at all because, again, we have the Sun card at the bottom here, which is a card of success, material happiness, joyous outcomes. So absolutely your hard work is getting ready to pay off. Super excited to see what things are on the other side of this transformation, Gemini. Like, this is exactly where you wanted to be. Anyways, moving on, let's take a look at our next column, which is anything related to money. Think job, career, finances, businesses you run, investments you have, whatever you associate with money, Gemini. Our first card we have is the Six of Pentacles. The Six of Pentacles is a very generous card. It's a card of giving or receiving help. And interestingly, I'm getting both here. I do see that you have some amount of money leaving going into the end of this month, but at the same time, there seems to be money coming right back in. So the money going out, I think you're already aware of. The money coming in, you weren't aware of though. So that's a bonus surprise, but it's like a money movement in and out with the Six of Pentacles. The next card that we have is the Ten of Cups. For those of you that have watched my readings before, you know the Ten of Cups is my favorite card in the entire deck. I love it so much. It is seriously the card of everything wonderful. We have the full rainbow at the top, the happy couple, the kids playing, the grass is green, the water is running, there's a house in the background. It is a card of family, contentment, total love and support. And I just, I guess, in life have a different respect for contentment. I used to think that contentment wasn't that good, but now I realize how hard it is to obtain contentment, and contentment is one of the best places we can be. So that's why I love the Ten of Cups, and I love to see in this reading. So this is like you being content, you being satisfied with your finances, satisfied with your job, and not many people can say that. So this is a really, really wonderful card to have in the money column. Wonderful to have anywhere, but like to see where it's falling here. This is also going to be a great card if you're trying to buy a house. Again, don't forget the house in the background of the card right there. So if you're trying to buy a house this month, it's looking good for you. And at the bottom here, we have the Two of Swords. The Two of Swords is a card of needing to make a decision. So I do see there being some sort of career or financial decision coming this month. But let's clarify, see what other information we can get here. The first card that we have is the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands is very active. This is oftentimes an indicator of a new project or new creative idea. In terms of the money coming in, you might like get an idea that you sell right away, or you start capitalizing on right away, which is super neat. It's like the money idea that you execute. So I do see there's something new. Potentially some of you could be picking up a new project at work too, and that new project is going to immediately lead to more money. But there's some newness here, some action. The Page of Wands, the person on the card, that would be you, Gemini, taking that action. The next card that we have is the Three of Swords. The Three of Swords is a card of a lot of different meanings, but one of the things is the need to heal. Some of you are going to be healing your finances going forward, which is beautiful. Or some of you are healed. Maybe we've paid off debt. We've gotten to this place again where we're in this total happiness and contentment as it relates to our job and finances. But it's not like it was an easy path. Like there could have been credit repair or paying down debt or saving money. This is the process to get to the Ten of Cups that's coming through with the Three of Swords there. And then at the bottom here, we have the Magician. I love seeing the Magician really anywhere in the reading. This is a card of focused creativity, turning visions into reality, inspired action. But with the Magician, anything is possible. You can have anything that you want, Gemini. So I will say, as this decision comes up, it's going to be really obvious if it's something you want or don't want. So make your decision accordingly. But again, I feel like it's going to be very apparent. It's either something you want or you don't want. Moving on though, let's take a look at our next column, which is anything related to love. Think family, friends, relationship, children, or whatever you associate with love. The first card that we have is the Emperor. The Emperor is a card of respect, strategic planning. This is a good parenting card too. I will say, for those of you that are in a relationship, this feels very happy, feels very healthy, feels very stable, so that's a great feeling. Again, the Emperor is very stable, very strategic, very long-term. This is also a very respectful relationship, and for those of you that have had not respectful relationships in the past, you'll know just how meaningful and valuable that is. If you're getting ready to enter into a new relationship, this is a good sign too. Again, I feel like this seems like healthy, stable, long-term energy. This is a card of good parenting. So for those of you out there that are parents, congratulations. This is always validation of your efforts. So lots of good parenting happening. If you are hoping to grow your family, this could also be a card of fertility. The next card that we have is the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is very reliable, very hardworking, very patient. This is again attributes of the relationship. So really wonderful qualities here. To have somebody that's reliable and committed, to have somebody that's patient and somebody that's willing to work hard for the relationship. Again, confirming the stability of the relationship. Really like the pairing of those two together. Then at the bottom here, we have the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords is an interesting card. This is a card of like gossip or being curious or trying to find out truth or finding out truth on something. I'm going to clarify this a little bit more. I feel like this is friend or family related, not so much love energy, but it's like you're finding out some sort of piece of information this month with the Page of Swords. But let's clarify and see what other information I can give you here. The first clarifier we have is the Ace of Swords. Anytime we have an ace card, it is a card of newness, Gemini. With the Ace of Swords, this is new idea, new mental clarity. So definitely there is some sort of news that's coming out this month. I'm not sure exactly what it's going to be, but we are finding out information. We're getting clarity. The next card that we have is the Three of Wands. The Three of Wands is a card of teamwork. I think I've said teamwork twice now, which is really wonderful in terms, again, of relationship. That's a good attribute that we want. We want that partnership. We want that teamwork type energy with those that we're in a relationship with. So another good stamp there. This is also a card of expansion. So again, for those of you hoping to expand your family, there's a couple fertility and pregnancy cards in this reading here for you. The other thing that's coming through here is travel. You could be doing some traveling either to visit a family or friend, family member or friend, or you could be doing like a vacation of some sort. And at the bottom here, we have the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords is a card of self-imposed restrictions. For whatever reason, I feel like you kind of have blindfold on to whatever this news is, Gemini. So do keep that in mind. Like, make sure you're listening. Make sure you're hearing, understanding, processing. It's kind of like the truth is there, but you don't want to see it for whatever reason. And I don't think it's a bad thing, but again, you are finding out something this month. Okay, now let's take a look at our fifth and final column, which is a message from our future self or spirit guides. Something to carry into the end of the month with you. We have the card Clarity. Probably very directly relating to what we were just talking about, but with the card Clarity, it is like this instant, like aha moment of finding out some sort of new information. When we see this card, it's like it smacks you in the face, some sort of new information, some sort of clarity. But let's see what we've got going on here. What we have in terms of this fifth and final column, this message for our future self. The first card we have is the Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups is a card of moving on. If you take a look here, these Eight of Cups are stacked really nicely, but yet the person in the background is still walking away, still moving on. I think whatever this clarity is or this information that you find out, it's going to trigger you to take a step forward. But this is a good thing, truthfully. Again, this is going from good to better. So this is information you need, for sure. It's enabling information. The next card that we have is the King of Swords. The King of Swords is very intentional, very strategic, very future focused. So again, this is like what you need to take steps forward. This information is very much so an enabler. This is the next step, the next place you want or need to be. And at the bottom here, we have the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands is a card of rivalry, challenges, obstacles. I like to explain this as small bumps in the road, because if you look at this card, they're not fighting with swords, they're fighting with wands. So again, it indicates just small bumps in the road versus full on like fighting or something along that. But it's like you are going to have to move forward with this piece of information, but it may not be completely smooth sailing. Let's see what other messages or clarity I can give you here, Gemini. Our first clarifier is the Seven of Swords. If you take a look at this card, this person is like picking up their swords and moving forward. So again, this information, this clarity that you get is very much so an enabler. It's going to drive you forward in action. Both of these cards have movement. The next card that we have is the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands is a card of waiting for results. It's almost like you've been waiting for this information, or you've been waiting for this next move. So I'm glad you're getting this clarity, because anytime we're waiting, we want to look for that enabler, that step to go forward. And that's going to be the clarity. And then at the bottom here, we have the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords is kind of a dark card. You see the sky is dark. The person's laying down flat. You kind of feel like you're in a low spot, but it's not necessarily going to be. This goes back to that leveling up energy. So taking a step forward, taking a movement forward in the correct direction. So if you are feeling these low feelings, you're going to be moving pretty promptly away from them regardless. Okay, now at this time, I'm going to give you the opportunity to ask 3 yes or no questions. We're going to use the Gypsy Witch fortune telling deck. If you don't have 3 questions in mind, Gemini, you can pause the video and think of them really quickly. But for question number 1, we have the Ace of Clubs. This is number 31 card. That's going to be a no. Question number 2 is the Two of Diamonds. This is the number 18 card. Oops. That's a yes for you. And question number 3 is the Queen of Hearts. This is number 23 card. That's going to be a yes. So no, yes, yes, Gemini. If you watched your video earlier this month, we did pull a card from our Healing Stones deck, which is a crystal to keep with you through the month of September. Your crystal this month is aquamarine, which is good for ease. It helps with your clairs, gives you a drive for life, helps keep you buoyant, and lets you do things with ease and depth. And last but not least, we're going to pull a card from our Healing Notes deck. Gemini, your healing note says, happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if only one remembers to turn on the light. Thank you so much for tuning in, watching, and listening. Please do like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how this video resonates with you. Again, subscriptions help me greatly, so please, please, please do. Also, you'll get notified when I post new content. I did include my Venmo in the comments box if you'd like to make a donation. But thank you so much, Gemini, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your September.